We're live. Hello, we're live. Welcome to Simon no茶の間, and welcome to my guest who has kindly joined me. And he is fully dressed, for those who are expecting otherwise. It's Rémino. Hello, Rémino. Excuse me, I'm just having a wine. Hello, Rémino.
Hello, this is Rémino, and I'm fully dressed. I'm very sorry. Maybe I should have dressed down or something. Just stay naked.
Radri was expecting you to have been smoking a cigarette in my
Big cigar. Hey, I'm here to talk about shit, man.
Hello, Mashu. Hello, Rena. Hello, Nosh. Hello, Frederick. Hello, Radri. Hello, Vids of your mom. You're still awake. Yes. I'm Bernie. Bernie, are you still here? Yes, Bernie's here. Totally ASMR. And Radri, I don't know whether Radri's still here. Welcome. You're still awake. Yes. Have you got my link playing? I can hear myself echoing.
There you go. Yeah. Sorry. I was trying to watch the chat, and then it was playing the same time, and it's like,
just mute me. Just
yeah. I got it.
I know. Hear no evil, see no evil, spoke no evil.
I'm trying to get all the details on one screen. I just can't. I don't know how to use Windows on a computer.
Because you're a Mac person or something, or what? Or a Linux? You're a Linux.
What are those windows on my screen? I don't know what to do with this. I look at all the people in the chat. My God.
Yes. Ty's there.
Hello, man. Ty is there. Frederick is there. I know those people. I don't know the rest, though.
It's all very incestuous in YouTube, you know. Oh. Lunch preparations. I'm an hour early. No, last week I messed up. I just got my time wrong last week, and luckily it was just me last week. So now I've woken up a bit. I had jet lag. That was my excuse.
Oh, hello, Ty. Hello, totally ASMR. We'll just speak softly like this for the entire show.
The sound of raindrops. Well, my friend, Austrian guy, he did a video about making some kind of Austrian soup, and there was a section in it where he was pouring clarified butter over the soup, and you could hear it sizzling in the pan, and it said ASMR Oscar moment.
This is the best moment, man. Those sounds, just yes.
You don't know me. Yes, Remy doesn't know Nosh. Nosh is a big deal. He's a friend of John Torp.
It's a big deal. I'm not a big deal. I'm a totally big deal. I have at least 200 subscribers.
Oh well, yes.
not thousands, yes.
And he's been on YouTube since the start as well. It's very good.
Yeah, I've been on YouTube for 2007 or something like that. Remember the time when YouTube was not popular, and when people would say YouTube, you thought they were talking about U2, the band? That's exactly what was happening. I hated that time, man, because I don't like YouTube. I'm like, why would I care about YouTube? Shut the hell up.
Oh God. Yes, back in the days of 360p. Oh yes, and that was
and 10 minutes top. That was a maximum.
Well, apparently I have learned that I learned from Kathy Cat that if your videos have to be at least 10 minutes or no longer than 10-15 minutes. If there's a 1 in front of the numbers, people will watch the replay. If it goes on for more than that, if it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, or an hour, they go, meh.
Oh crap! So we already went through half the show then.
Yes, I mean, we could get Radri to edit out the boring bits. We should probably start, actually, shouldn't we?
I guess we should start with the questions and stuff.
Yes, I have questions.
You have questions. I've got answers.
Yeah, this is a good. I especially prepared this background for this question. This took a long time, which is why I missed having my lunch. Here we are.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a Japan montage there.
A Japan montage. Just
I like how your logo is like cut out of the frame as well. Like
that's yes, that was deliberate.
yeah, there's some artistic freedom there.
Yeah. So, question. I mean, as you will know from the advert that I mentioned, that Remy has lived quite a few years in Japan now.
Yeah.
Not as many as some, but more than others. And the question is, it's he's undergone immersion within Japanese society to a degree. And generally, what is your general feeling and opinion about Japanese society? Big question.
Wow, that's a big question. Yeah, because all I get from Japanese people is usually where from. So I just limit myself to that.
Yes, but I mean, in your mind, when they're asking you that question, and you're not saying, "Oh, for fuck's sake."
Well, yeah. I mean, like, obviously, when I get that question, it's usually from people who don't go out a lot. So, I can't.
Well, I don't go out a lot, but I
them.
never ask you that question. But yeah, no.
But what I think about Japanese society in general, huh? I mean, like, you got some good and bad sides. I mean, how can I put it? Like, if you're just like fresh to Japan, right? You have that rosy picture of Japan where, like, oh, robots and sushi, people so polite, blah blah blah, and that's just when you usually travel here. But when you live here, and not just 1 or 2 years, like a whole 9 years, like I've done, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like any other place where you would live, you would see the good and the bad sides, right? So the good sides, I guess, like, yes, it's true that people are polite in general. Depends where you go. If you go to a really urban area, they tend to be more polite. But I live in suburban, so they tend to be more open-minded about like telling you to piss off, But I mean, whatever. There's that. But again, in politeness, you can easily tell people to piss off while staying polite. You just have to make them look forward to the ride. That's it.
Yes, just the body language. I mean, I've been reading about this sort of. I mean, a bit after the event, but yes, it's all nuances.
Yeah, nuances and all that, and that brings me a little bit to the bad side, where like I just feel like Japanese in general just don't like to lose face. I'm not sure how to put it. It's a big thing here, right? Because they'll make sure of everything. Like the confirmation is ingrained in their culture here. I mean, I speak as a web developer here who started back in Canada, was programming websites, blah, blah, blah. And here, like, the biggest thing that I found was every time you make a form, for example, you always have to add a confirmation step, which is not very common in Canada, but here it's not the law, but almost,
What is that? What is that specifically? What I mean, what does that mean? Confirmation.
Well, when you go to sign up for everything, like for example, if you sign up on Twitter right now, they will only ask your name, email address, password, and that's it. You're in. Okay, very simple. But in Japan, if you do anything like a login form, that's not going to happen. But like if a form has 4 or 5 fields or more, you click submit, and then you have they show you back that information you've just input, and they say, "Are you sure about this?" And that's not just on the web. I mean, go anywhere and like you provide a form and they look, okay, are you sure that this is what you want to give us? There's always a confirmation step. It's a big thing here. Because by doing this, they push that responsibility, they bounce it off back to you. Right? If you wrote something wrong, it's your problem. It's your problem. It's entirely not their fault. Because here they don't like losing face. That's one thing that I've always noticed here. But in general,
it's. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, like long-winded, but not bad.
Well, okay. In general, I mean, like it's a society where it's quite it's much of the same. You know, like it's not much diverse. But you do find pockets here and there where it is diverse, and you have like that side of Japan where like it's quite nationalistic. It's quite they want to protect their identity, their language, and the way they do
Fair
things.
enough. Yeah.
Yes, and we have that a little bit everywhere. Like also where I'm from. Like I mean, I'm a French Canadian who's not from Quebec. So like every tiny pocket of French Canadians in Canada will do everything they can to defend themselves, their language, and everything. Right. So I see that a lot in the Japanese people, and that's good. I mean, I don't have a problem with this, but that makes it so like you have that side where like they're very defensive about this. And you have the other side where, like, well, because of that, I don't see a lot more from other cultures. I'm really curious about this, you know. And sometimes they have it, like when they try to explore, they have it the right way. Sometimes they don't. So anyway, they're learning. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I mean, but you feel despite all this sort of like the incongruities and so on, you're quite comfortable there.
Well, I mean, once you learn Japanese, it makes a lot of things simpler, right? Especially when you meet people and start. Yeah, I mean,
you don't
like,
starve.
I feed myself. I know how to make sandwiches, so I'm good. So no, I mean, when you meet people, like when I just moved to Japan, it was fresh. I didn't know how to speak Japanese that well, so of course it made some people nervous. But I can totally relate to that because where I'm from, again, we only speak French. So when we had to deal with somebody speaking English, like I know that tension we have. It's like, oh, my English not so good. I'm not sure. I don't want to sound like an idiot, like that sort of thing. So I can relate to that. And even more so, I can even now explain those feelings in Japanese now. So it makes things super smooth now. So that's pretty good.
Oh, that's good. Yes, I mean, this is possibly why I'm learning Japanese. It's hard work.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I have a test next week, which I managed to skip out of while I was in Japan. And my teacher said, "Oh, Simon-san, testo, raishu, yeah, raishu, yeah, raishu."
Okay.
So that leads on to the to kind of the next question. It's the questions are like fairly random, but you know you've become immersed. You've learned the language. But recently, I've been looking at your Instagram, and you know, to get a view of Rémino's take on life in provincial Japan, shall I say? And some of the photos you've put on Instagram, they're quite. I mean, they're quite evocative. I would say. I mean, you might say that that's just something I saw, but to me, they kind of have like an edgy feel that, and you know, making place like Matsudo and Chiba look kind of edgy and artistic. sorry, for any of those places. To what extent are they actually a reflection of your inner self?
Well, it's interesting you notice that because I started using Instagram recently to show a different kind of content that I make. Not sure how to put it. Like, it used to be a little bit too general. Like I would put like kind of the same voice almost on all social networks, Facebook, Twitter, and all that. Facebook for me now is basically the shit posting version of my life in Japan, and we had a good time with that. So like, Twitter, like sometimes I don't post that much on Twitter. Right now, my Twitter's on private actually. Like I didn't post much in public, but as for Instagram, like you know, on YouTube I make like funny videos, stuff like that. So and I always like show humor and stuff like that. But on Instagram, what I started doing for the past couple of months is like I didn't like this sort of content I was putting up there. It was just like anybody else, just like food and stuff. I'm like, hey, check out my lunch. My lunch is better than your lunch, you know, that sort of thing.
Nosh, I'm not looking at you, Nosh. Sorry.
And so I just started like to sort of like try to show photos of where I am, where I go, what I see, you know, and try to evoke the feeling that I get through that. Notice that I don't even write captions. I just let the photos do the talking. And
yes, I noticed that. Yeah, there's no description. Yeah.
Well, you don't like. I mean, you have so many photos on Instagram where you just like is plagued with hashtags and everything, and I'm like, you don't need this, you know. But I mean, some people may need this, but I like for the kind of photos that I put up there, I let the photos do the talking instead. And in Matsudo, or well, more like rural or suburban Japan, you have that site where a lot of people like. Especially when you think of Japan, people think of Japan, they think like Tokyo, the big skyscrapers, the buildings, the lights and everything. And geographically, that's probably like just maybe 5% of Japan, you know, because the rest is all like open air, is really short buildings, a lot of highways. Not everything is a narrow street, you know. Although when I do see a narrow street in Tokyo, I do think still that it's beautiful as well. And I'll put that too. But since I live in this area, like I might as well just show this when I just walk around or go see some of my friends or something. Like I just post what I show, and so I just want to show like how lonely it can feel here. You know, can feel lonely, can feel like different.
Well, and speaking of Matsudo, I have a little playlist here of Matsudo. I mean, because one of the questions was, I'll jump to that question if I can find it. So name the top 4 attractions in Matsudo.
Oh boy!
there's a big clue behind me here for one of them. Anyway.
My top, like I don't even know about that place. But
well, you.
Is it in Matsudo City? Is it near Matsudo Station or?
Well, we'll go to Matsudo Station shortly, but this is Matsudo Shrine. Matsudo Shrine.
I may have been to that one. I'm not sure, but okay. But anyway, like okay, let's say Matsudo Shrine is one of them.
Okay, they are a big clue.
A couple of shrines, but I forgot their names. I'm not sure right now. But well, there's that very big poster of a lady in Matsudo Station, the second Japanese lady went to space. I mean,
okay.
She was
I did not know that.
She was so bored, she just got the fuck out into space. I mean, that's quite something. So bored, yeah, I'm out of here. Like she went up there. She looked down. Yeah, well, there's not much to do here either. So she just came back, you know. So
this is near Matsudo Station. I got no, that isn't. I'll go back. Hang on, I'll go back to this one.
I'm gonna go there, but anyway. What is that?
It's an old building close to Matsudo Station. I got this from a website for a redevelopment website from Matsudo. things I do for this show is bloody ridiculous.
You see, like that's the thing, right? And you can kind of see that through the pictures. Like, there's not much to see and do, but this is what I do, you know. And this is what I see. So, like, I don't really know about tourist attractions in Matsudo. I don't think you have any.
There's about 3. I'm sorry.
My God, they really have to scrape down the barrel for that one, huh? Okay.
According to TripAdvisor, it's like there's 3 in Matsudo, and then it says that's all we found, but nearby you can find.
Let's go to Kashiwa instead. They have more fun stuff, you know. I know funny that Kashiwa and Matsudo tried to merge, and they did. And then Kashiwa was like, "Yeah, Matsudo's kind of shit. Like, we don't want this." And they just put it again. Like, wow, way to go, way to go! And actually, Matsudo tried to take when they merged, the whole new city was called Matsudo, and Kashiwa was like, "No, we're not doing this." We're not doing this. Yeah. But what I do like around Matsudo, like, oh, actually, I know that shrine. I've been there before. That's a nice one.
Yes, I mean I can't remember the name. I'm sorry, I had the names, but I forgot them.
I can't see. It's too blurry, but
Yeah.
yeah, like I do like walking around. Like you have like nice rivers and all that here and all that stuff. Like I mean, I like seeing that. Oh, there's one thing though you may want to see. It's no, sorry, like somebody in the chat, Nasha Broad, is saying like Matsudo's Wikipedia entry has to be the shortest thing on the site.
Matsudo, that's it.
Quechua. No. Now, I was going to say, like every like late spring or early summer, you have the Matsudo Fireworks Festival, and it's pretty popular with that one. It's quite surprising, but you get quite some traffic going on there, and it's pretty good. It's pretty impressive. They have performances happening during the day, usually music performances and all that.
Fireworks during the day. Hang on, in the daylight.
During the day, they have performances in the day, and they have fireworks at night.
All right.
And this is nice. That's the only thing I think I like about Matsudo, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. Although Frederick's asking, shall I check Urban Dictionary about Matsudo? Oh my god.
Don't look on Urban Dictionary. You're gonna find my name there.
Good luck.
It's probably like saying like Matsudo, this place is shit, added by Remy, 2015 or something.
So we've established that Matsudo is it's a place to live and escape from to space too.
Everybody who I say, like when I say from Matsudo that I live in Matsudo, not I'm from there, but
yes,
if they know the place, they're like, why the hell are you there? Like, that sort of reaction. Like historically, Matsudo was a small town. Like, and we're talking like in Edo period, right before cars and everything. So when people like were on horses and they would go up north in Japan, they would often like go from Edo and stop in Matsudo for the night and then resume their course. That was
it was like a post town.
Yeah, it was.
So yeah, I mean, so this means that you're from a small area in Canada, New Brunswick. And you moved to a provincial area in Japan. Is there anywhere else that you'd be interested in living before you stop existing? Without necessarily assuming that you didn't have to sort of completely restructure your life. If you thought like, tomorrow I could snap my fingers, get on a plane, go and live in X part of the world, without all the shit that goes with that, where would you choose?
The sad thing is right now, like I had to change visas, and I'm applying for one right now, and I'm going through some difficulties with immigration, which I usually never got, but I do hope I get it. I get the new visa, because my biggest regret in living in Japan for 9 years is I've never traveled anywhere else in Asia, even though I was really close to all those countries there. So if I like answering your question, like I would definitely try. Like I would love to live like a couple of days, like a couple of weeks in South Korea, or like hell, I even try North Korea. Just give it a try. I would try China, Mongolia, Taiwan, Thailand, Vietnam, Singapore, Philippines. I would try all that, man.
I only asked for one.
Just one? No, like I haven't traveled a lot. I let me a chance here. I want to go to places, and like before I die, like it's not a place that I'd like to live there, but I'm talking about countryside France. There's that one place where you have the original like member of like one of my ancestors like moved from France to New France, which is now Canada. There's a tombstone there saying that, and those tiny goals you have, right? But I don't think I would, even though I'm French Canadian, I'm not sure if I want to live in France. I would love to visit Paris. I have a couple of friends there. Visit
quite nice.
any other place. Visit any other place in Europe. I have some friends in Belgium as well, of course.
Yes, you can. I've got a spare room here. I mean, I'd have to take down my green screen and
just sleep in front of my green screen and pretend it's a room. Okay. I like while I sleep, but like before I sleep, I have to like watch myself in the camera and key out the screen. It's like, oh, this is a nice room. Like there's one thing though, like I don't like I'm no hate for Canada here, but like I don't really want to go back there. Like maybe I have no choice at some point, but it's I visited Canada last year, my first time in 8 years, and it was like, wow, I just don't fit in. I've been Japanized now. It's strange to say that, but
all right. That leads me to I shall jump now to question 18 on the list.
Wow, you just keep the episode short tonight.
Yeah. I mean, as you said, you mentioned that you didn't feel there was much there. Do you feel that you've been to some extent de-Canadianized?
Oh, for sure. Thing is, like back in Canada, I never fit in pretty well. Okay, I always had problems. I was bullied when I was a kid, and then later, like I just like had that comeback reaction where like I'm super defensive for nothing, that sort of thing. And I was never like much. I was always a black sheep where I come from. Okay, so like where I grew up, like everybody's listening to country music and metal. Like everybody's a metalhead or a country singer. And it's like, yeah, it's just not my place. I mean, it's a perfect place if you love nature and stuff, but I'm not a nature person. Everybody in my family is. I'm not. And I'm
so
much more of a person.
You were this annoying kid on the family picnics.
yeah, exactly. That's the thing, right? They always want to, like, oh, you should come with us. It's going to be fun. Yeah, it's going to be fun for you, not for me. Yeah. So, yeah, like, I mean, then again, like, I don't come from an urban area in Canada. Maybe that would be different if that was the case. But, like, I do feel like living in Japan for so many years, like, like, maybe my attitude, especially at work, let's say, was well-fitting with like a Japanese mentality where like I'm usually punctual. I'm usually kind of like, I'm just gonna say it, I'm just anal. Like I'm about a couple of things.
Yeah.
So
you heard it here first, folks.
No, not that kind of anal.
Okay.
Or maybe.
We'll get onto that later. We'll get onto that later. Yeah.
Anyway, like I'm kind of like when it comes to like programming, let's say, like I'm kind of like stringent, kind of like precise and strict on like what should be done, and whatever, But and yeah, like even sometimes some Japanese told me like, you're more Japanese than we are Japanese. Like, not sure, okay, like, weird flex, but okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I do, like I have a sense of humor, of course. I mean, obviously I make jokes and all that, but I also have that serious side that people notice. People are scared of me sometimes because of that, but we shouldn't be. Yeah, I know.
So, if I can like as Radri says, change gears. I'm copying other podcasters here.
Change gears.
So, I mean, you're so the Japanese think you're actually more Japanese than them, and this leads me to the question: do you regularly restock your emergency kit?
Why? This is the one part that I'm feeling I've been Japanized. I'm not doing that.
so you have a 2007 emergency kit with like
no, I don't. No, I don't have anything. Well, I do have that one like flashlight that you can hand crank, but I bought that because I went to Fuji. It was like years ago. Yeah, but it's funny because I bought that hand crank thing, and then like when we had the big earthquake and we had those power outages, I'm like, I'm already prepared. I was like proud of this shit.
No candles. I got my.
Yeah, I got no food and water, but hey, I got the light. Like yeah. Yeah. Besides, I mean, like that was a funny thing. Like when we had those power outages, those planned power outages right after the earthquake in 2011. Like the power outages reminded me of the power outages we used to have back in New Brunswick during winter, like all the snow and wind, the storms and everything, right? So the power would go out. So knowing in advance the power was going to go out, I was already prepared for this, unlike many Japanese that I know. But I was like, yeah, like Canadian Roo's coming out right now. So yeah.
Let's jump back now.
Okay.
Because you've been decanadianized.
Yeah.
You've been thoroughly Japanized.
Yeah,
and but you would love to spend weeks and months in different Asian countries.
for sure.
On Radri's interview, you mentioned that, oh, it could have been Ozzy's interview. I can't remember. It's all a blur. You mentioned that your job, and that your job, you kind of like left it at work, came home and relaxed, and that your job was, you were damn good at it, and it provided you with all your necessary things for life.
Mm-hmm.
But my question is, if you had a choice, is this something you would like to do that you find fun, and also be the main source of income? Keep it clean, please.
Be clean.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a family show.
I swore before. Sorry about that, but I'll swear again.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So basically, is there something? I mean, is there a sort of particular interest or hobby or a passion of yours that if you could turn that into work, without it being a chore, and make money from it, what would it be?
I would definitely be acting. Would be acting, or like second or third choices, like more like writing, like as in like storytelling, and filmmaking. Like, but I like the acting part of it. Yeah, I like playing roles and characters, sort of thing. And I didn't have much of a chance to do it, so anytime I had a chance, I went ahead and did it. But it was interesting to see, like I know some people who do this already, and so, like, knowing what's happening behind the curtain is very interesting for me. Like, it's like, wow, okay, that's much more work than I thought it was, or like that sort of thing. But I would be ready to do it, So it's always been something I wanted to do since I was a kid. But what happens, like, I started writing stories because, like back in New Brunswick, you
need to entertain yourself when the family's on a picnic and you're at home.
It's not Hollywood or Los Angeles there. It's just New Brunswick. I'm not going to go acting anytime soon. So I started writing fiction, on the computer, old black and white computer with the black and white screen. And no hard drive, just floppy disks. Just writing stories and stuff. And as the years went on, like, I wanted to spread the word, and I learned about the internet, and then I started like learning about HTML and programming. It's like, whoops, now I'm a web developer. That's not what I wanted to do, but that's that kind of like
somehow it became that. But I mean, you kind of you moved into sort of like acting in a sense, in the sense of cosplay when you started. Is that one of the reasons that you became interested in cosplay?
Oh, definitely. I mean, the funny thing about cosplay these days is like people just want to imitate the look of a character, but nobody says anything about like acting like the character. And you don't see that a lot. Like they'll imitate a pose, they'll imitate the outfits, which is quite a lot of work in itself. That's for sure. Especially if you're gonna make it yourself. That part was interesting for me. Yes, but sad part is like of course you don't act. Like you will mimic some facial expressions from the character just for the camera, and that's it. So I wish it was like a little bit deeper than that. But
well, there is something like that, LARPing. But I mean, have you ever tried that?
I never tried that.
No. I mean, I'm not quite sure whether it's big in Matsudo.
No, I don't.
It's like random cosplay characters like jumping through buildings in Matsudo. I don't know.
They tried to do a cosplay festival here. It didn't work so well.
Yes, maybe they dressed up as this character.
No, actually, a little bit more serious. Like like this. What is that? Oh my god! I didn't know.
It's the Matsudo mascot. I'm sorry, I just had to bring him in there. Sorry.
It's a goddamn sorry, man. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. They should have just done a bed instead. No, the biggest problem with the cosplay festival they had, like not far from here, actually, just on my street, is that big like controversial rule that you often have in cosplay events, where like they will allow girls to dress up as guys, but not guys as girls.
Oh yeah.
And they get a lot of shit for that, so that just didn't happen. Tokyo Comic Con, actually, I had to face that problem, and when it started getting viral, they actually like removed that rule. But yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, sticking with cosplay there for a minute. So that's still one of your interests, although it doesn't appear on YouTube much or anything anymore. Is it? You still?
So what? Sorry, it cut off.
Sorry. Do you still partake of cosplay?
These days, well, the thing is, like, I especially this year, I was really stressed with personal life issues and all that, so I got a little bit bigger and all that, so I cannot even fit in my original costumes. They were custom made, right? So it's like, oh crap, can't put it on. But I still want to do it. But if I do it again, like, it will take a different form, I think. Like the conventions were fun. Like for me, I kind of get a little bit bored easily. Like once I've done a convention like 2, 3, 4 times, I'm like, okay, well, I know what it is now. I want to do something else, you know? So I'd like to be able to do some cosplay, but as I was mentioning earlier, go a little bit deeper and try to mimic the characters as well, or like maybe like do like short videos and that sort of thing. That's something I would like to do again. These days, I haven't. I'm not saying no to do a comeback, but yeah, I mean, someday will happen. Just don't know when, you know.
Well, yeah. I mean, perhaps not leave it too long, because my next related to that in that question is: do you think there's an upper age limit for cosplay?
Actually, funny enough, like I think right now I'm kind of in like maybe the worst age to do cosplay. What I'm trying to say here is like almost all the characters you see in like anime series and all that, they're either like very young, like up to their 20s, or like older, like 50s, 60s, you know.
Oh well, so I'm all right then. I'm all right then.
Yeah, you're more like maybe that's what I'm gonna do my comeback, you know, because I do have some characters that I kind of like who are at that age, but for some reason, every time you see a series, always like that gap, you know, like always like 20s, 30s, and then like 60s, 50s, 60s, you know. It's like right now, like I'm 36, and it's like there are not many characters that I know at that age. That
they're all busy working and earning a living and getting children and things. There's never any action series. Everybody in an action series sort of like disappears after the age of 30. comes back when they're 60. I'm Batman.
You know, those questions, like I see the chat at the same time. Like I didn't have a chance to say anything about the chat, but questions are funny in there, man. Like, can't you call me a retired person? Sure, cosplay as a retired person.
So related to cosplay, was your? I mean, and in your previous interviews, you've said you've shelved it for the moment. Was your cross-dressing life? Was that? Could that also be related to wanting to act in a sense? I mean, you said in the other interviews it was to explore your curiosity about sort of, the other half, as it were. But I mean, is that still? You've shelved the actual dressing up part, but I mean, is it still within your consciousness? Is it still something you take an interest in?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Like these days, like a little bit for the same reasons in cosplay. Like I just didn't really have the time, or like like I can't even fit my favorite dress anymore, so I can't. I can't say anything.
This leads me very quickly to the next question. What, if anything, did you learn about women when you cross-dressed? And is it a preoccupation
Well, like,
with being able to fit
saying, like,
into the clothes you want?
Yeah, you were saying if it was like acting or not. Like, I mean, there was some acting. Like, I mean, you do bring out the character, but then, like, because of my curiosity, because, like, I mean, like, not a lot of people have that chance to, like, explore the other side so personally, and I was curious, like, you hear about women complaining about stuff, like what's happening in their daily life, and you like, is it that bad, that sort of thing. You don't really know. And I do think that everybody kind of has, like, both in them, even though most people will just show a half of it, which is fine. I'm not forcing anybody to do something they don't like, but yeah, like, forming that character, like, was kind of like bringing up, like, I mean, and I was never portraying myself as a woman before, so bringing that up is like, wow, okay, I would be like that if I was a woman, I guess, or at least a little bit. I mean, of course, when you're on camera and you go on YouTube, you kind of like put that extra layer of character where, like, you kind of like act for the camera. But when I was with friends and all that, I did notice, even though I was not in an act, that my personality was changing. Even my voice was changing a little bit, even if I was not trying. Not just, I mean, of course I have a deep voice, and it's obvious when I speak that I'm a man, but the way I was talking, the words I was using, they were getting different as I was being a woman. So that was quite interesting, I think.
Did you? I mean, I haven't watched, I'm sorry, too many of your Rémino videos, but did you ever do it in Japanese?
I wanted to, it just didn't happen. Like, maybe someday, but like, I mean, when it was in Japanese, was usually like in person. I would meet, go to some events and all that and do it in person. But videos, I haven't done that. No, maybe someday.
So, I mean, it's been for the moment, it's been shelved. But I mean, this leads me to the next question. I mean, having explored that area of cross-dressing, do you ever still look for and buy items of women's clothing to combine, for example, so not to be sort of outwardly cross-dressed, but do you buy clothes because, oh, that's comfortable, it's a stretch fit?
No, well, I mean, that's the one, like, you were asking earlier if I don't learn anything about women in that time, and you do learn a lot. Like, you learn about like how people, like, will easily sexually harass women more than men. Like, I mean, like, people try to grab my boobs all the time. It was so weird. It's even weirder when you see it in first person. When you see that creepy guy trying to grope you, and it's like, wow, like, I don't want to be that woman going through that. That sort of thing. And even clothing, like, I realized, like, wow, like fashion for men is kind of like dull and like, it's just like day-to-day thing, very cheap and easy. But woman, like, it's so varied. Like, women's clothing, like women's fashion is like, wow, like, they have like all those like cuts for skirts and dresses, length, pants and everything, for the collars as well, like all those different forms and everything. Shoes and all that, like undergarments even, like I was not really into that, but anyway, like all those things, like I don't do it now. I don't buy items and all that, but I also had to go through problems that they also have to face when trying to buy stuff. I mean, I bought women's clothing in person down in Tokyo a couple of times. I've done it online, and it's not always easy. Although I have to say, like, they were pretty open to this when I went to buy women's clothing, and nobody asked me any questions. They just let me go in the fitting room, and that was it. Also online, while you buy stuff and all that, and the thing is, like, you always have those problems where, like, okay, well, especially, like, I know some women who are my size. They're like just as tall, and like they have a really strong build, and like they have problems trying to find clothes in Japan.
Because the size things.
There's that, and also, like, if you want to buy something fashionable, well, good luck with that if you're like a one size bigger. And also, you have to buy stuff almost like 2 seasons in advance sometimes.
Oh my God.
Well, because of all the times it takes, like because you have to import it. You can't get it within Japan. So you have to import that. You have to pay extra. You have to wait extra longer. And once you get it, it doesn't even fit.
Yeah.
Shit women have to deal with, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you are, audience. I mean, our advice to you would be to cross-dress for at least for a month. And
not only cross-dress, but go outside and meet people.
Simon no茶の間.
Yeah, exactly.
Psychological advice.
Because you get all those reactions, right? Like I'm like, the thing is, like, since I was a kid, I was always kind of awkward, and I used to think that was a bad thing. Kind of is, but I got used to it. Okay, so now I just went outside as a woman, and just let people deal with me. It's like I don't care. So of course you get different reactions. You have those who are like, "Oh my God, I want to meet you!" Like they want to talk to you and all that. Like they're super excited about this. And you have a lot of people who are like, "What the hell is going on?" I'm just gonna walk the other way. I did get a few people. Like it was right in front of my station. I was heading out. I always remember this. The guy he saw me and was on his phone. He saw me. He's like, wait a minute. He looks at me again. And he kept looking at me, and as he looked at me, he just tripped over that huge pile of bicycles, and it just went. Everything fell down like dominoes. He fell over the bicycles. Everything fell over. All he heard was like big, loud noises. Like good job, man.
YouTuber causes chaos in Matsuda.
Yep. Oh yeah, and let me tell you about the shaving.
Pardon? It's all right.
Yeah,
keep it clean.
Like I think I already told that to Razri, but like I'm a goddamn Sasquatch under this. Okay, so like I had to schedule time to shave. That was it was like 4 hours. Like the one time I had to do the full body, is like wow, the legs. It was smooth though. I never felt myself so smooth before.
You would advise shaving over creams, then hair removal cream.
No, well, I use both, right? Like there's some like parts that was kind of difficult, like for one or the other, but it was still taking a lot of time. It's just like, my God, like how do people deal with this?
How do you clean your drains? All that hair.
Yeah,
sorry.
I had to clean that too, and I had scheduled for time for that as well.
Oh dear!
Terrible.
I shall change gears now again. just to hello, Natalie. You just missed Remy shaving his body hair.
Live shaving my chest.
So we talked about sort of Instagram, and we talked about YouTube, the Twitter accounts, and one Twitter account has gone private, and YouTube is for shit posting. Facebook is for shit posting, and YouTube is on hiatus. So what do you see? I mean, you're involved with computers and all that business. What do you see as the future of the online society and social media within the next 20 years? How would you see it evolve?
That's interesting. Huh? Like you were saying, YouTube is on hiatus. Like for me, it's just because.
Well, yes. I mean, we haven't seen a video for a while.
No, I know. I'm sorry, but like, yeah, it's just like that's
Real
the way.
life.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. If I'm not in the mood to make a video, I just don't make anything.
Yeah.
People will wait. People will come back. That's fine. They people will understand. And if like that's the biggest thing, like a lot of people do that, and if they want to do that, that's fine. And sorry for deviating the question here, but like when people come back after a long time, all they do is make a video about being sorry for not making videos. And like you're missing that golden opportunity here. Like just make the content that people are looking for, So sometimes I do go, like, it's not the first time I have a hiatus like this on YouTube. So when I come back, I just pop something new, just like, there you go, people will take it. But anyway, coming back to your question, like about what's going to happen with social networking in 20 years. Well, we've both seen how it evolved, right? Like when I was a kid, like I was born in the 80s, and like I've seen society where like, it was just like phone numbers and faxes. and like it was kind of easy to not know what other people was doing, you know, that sort of thing. You were not connected at all.
Mm.
And now, like I like after a while, I started seeing it more and more. Like it was like the time when like everybody had the computer in the house. It was the computer room, you know, like.
Yes.
And then the internet comes in on dial-up, and then like people send email. Then it was like Hotmail, and then like some IRC chats, web chats, stuff like that. And then you have like what LiveJournal and Friendster and MySpace and Facebook came along and Twitter.
Yes, but
and all
younger members of the audience will have to Google these.
Yeah, you'll have to. My first search engine on the internet was Excite, so just let you know. What was it? InfoSeek, I forgot. Yeah, and like and now you're asking that question. I'm like, wow, like I've met people. But now I meet people these days, especially as a web developer, and also just outside. You know, they're like just in their 20s, and for them, they were born into this. Like everything was already connected for them, and they've never known a world where it was not connected. They don't know how like that also had its upsides, right?
Yes, I mean, not being connected, you know, meant you were kind of like forced to meet real people in your immediate surroundings, and you know, you had to take what you could get.
You have to go outside and meet them.
Now.
You have to call on the phone like, "Hey, did you know what he was doing?" Then you had your shoulder like this. Yeah, just like this, and then the cable.
Yeah, but
yeah,
now you can just do that if and all swipe right.
Yeah. Yeah, like I mean, like there was a time where like computer was just like people didn't even think that would be useful. Then everybody had a computer in the house or the apartment, like was the computer, like I said. And now, like I have how many devices connected to the web now in my living room? I have like at least 7. You know.
Oh God.
And yeah, well, I mean, I have my computer right now. I have my iPhone, iPad, even my TV's on the web, my Switch, my Wii U, my file, my NAP.
I feel suddenly inadequate.
Well, then again, I did do some ITs. Maybe that's why I have so many. But yeah. But where it's gonna go from now on is like it's like I don't want to think it's like Black Mirror, but sometimes I'm afraid it's gonna be like that. I'm not sure if you watched that series before.
My son has Netflix, and I don't watch Netflix, so
that's okay. So I'll just try to explain here. It's like, for example, recently, like here in Japan, like you have all those like IC cards, like the integrated circuit cards, and it's mostly used for commutes and all that. Like you just touch the thing. You can also use that for paying stuff. So I use that.
Yeah, Suica cards and Pasmo.
Yeah,
and all that. Yeah,
exactly. And you have that on your Apple Watch now and iPhone, just beep 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 everywhere. And like, so I've seen in Sweden they have something similar, but they actually put a chip in your hand.
Oh my God!
For you to pay stuff. And apparently, like I know some people who do that. You know, so it's already starting to happen. And I'm like, that's my limit there. Like I don't want, you know, I'm already connected all the time, almost without a choice. Like I mean, like when's the last time you actually turn off everything and like all the iPhones and computers and everything, so you can be truly disconnected?
This has not been off for about 3.5 years.
Well, the other time it's going to be off is when your battery gets depleted. That's pretty much
basically. Oh yeah, if I have to recharge the battery, it goes off.
Yeah. So yeah, like and now like we're connected all the time. And what worries me in the next 20 years is like how you cannot disconnect yourself. And that's the one bit that I don't like. I guess it's because since I've been doing IT for that long, and I've observed everything that's been happening for like since the 80s. And now you see like the funny thing is I used to wish to be connected all the time. I used to like I wanted to be on the internet all the time because I had most of my friends there. Like I was in New Brunswick for God's sake. So I wanted to connect with people outside, you know, in the world. So, but now like my only wish, like having that toggle is like, okay, I don't want people to bother me. Turn off, you know. not only people, but also like what they do with your data. That's also bothering me a little bit. Because it's not only the data you provide, but it's also the data that they infer. So based on what you post, they will have a fairly good guess on what you will post next, what you will buy next, you know. And that's the scary thing a bit. I mean, they hire people, they hire psychologists, they hire data analysts just for doing that.
Well, I'm quite fortunate in that respect, because there doesn't appear to be a lot of companies selling secondhand clothes. So I don't get many adverts for like charity shops.
Yeah, sometimes the adverts don't work so well. I think they're still learning. Like on Instagram recently, I got some adverts for like some really shady clothing. You had like a pair of like sweatpants with a picture of ramen noodle soup on it. It was like, why are you showing me this?
What did I click on to deserve that? Yeah,
yeah, I know. Like, there's no way I'm gonna buy this. Like, but anyway, yeah. So I guess that bit didn't work for them. But no, it's just you know, like it's even now, like especially Facebook, like just for the past couple of years, I've been like I worked towards making Facebook just one circle of friends, and what I mean by that is, you have people nowadays where like the moment they meet you, they want to add you on Facebook. Like, why? Why? We don't even know each other, you know? And I don't want you to add me, and then you read a few of my posts and like, wow, that guy's an asshole. Like, I don't want you to judge me on like 3 posts that I made in my life, you know?
Yeah.
So how can you extrapolate the entire person just on 3 goddamn posts? You know, this doesn't make sense to me. But people do that, you know? And like, it's like we don't even question the usage of it. For example, I'm using Facebook as an example here, but of course you have Twitter and all that. But like, Facebook is a big part of what's happening now, I think. So they don't even question it. They just go ahead and add people. It's like, why? Like, I mean, sure, everybody has a different reason to use it. Someone just to network, that sort of thing. But like, instead of making Facebook like the circle of all circles of my friends, now I'm making that just one circle of friends. So for example, like if I want to, like, I block a shitload of people on Facebook. Like even my family is blocked on Facebook. Family.
You block your family on Facebook?
Yeah, definitely. Well, if you think about it, like it, you know, if I would, like, I never asked my parents, but I would love to ask my mom, like, how would you feel if your mom was watching you 24/7 as you went to school, as you went to university, as you go out with friends and stuff? I mean, in her perspective, I guess, it's like, oh, I can see my son all the time. This is great. Not so great. I don't think so. You know, like, I mean, you need that separation, I think. I mean, it's like you have
time to breathe.
Yeah. Well, you don't act the same way with your family that you would do with coworkers or like some close friends of yours, or even within friends. You have circles. You have that, like, I have that circle of people making electronic music. I have that circle of friends like doing acting. I have that circle of friends doing programming. You know, and I will not talk about the same things or act the same way with all the circle of people.
That's true.
Even
That's very true. Yeah. I mean, when I was doing Three Old Dudes, I just hoped that none of my family would ever watch the show. But my sons watched it. I mean, and sometimes they would appear from behind the green screen. But I mean, you know, and I told my parents about it, but I don't. Luckily, they don't have a computer.
Well, that's good. They're disconnected still.
Yes, I mean, we have to use data now when we go to my parents, because we were only going like twice a year, and they got they did when we first started going and you know needed the internet. My parents said, "Oh, we better get internet for Simon when he comes," and they had it for the entire year. They don't have a computer. So they were paying for all this stuff, and we were just turning up like for 2 weeks of the year. So they decided, no, sorry, finish with that. You know?
That's it. So, but yeah, like I'm saying, like coming back to Facebook, like yeah, now it's just a circle of friends. Like I feel it's like it's kind of a big circle, but I mean, it's still a circle of friends that we just joke around and everything. Because it used to be like I would add everybody, like not being too selective. That's when I realized, like, wow, you have so many people where like they just they don't say anything, and then they just judge everything you post, and then they just bottle up that anger against you, and all of a sudden, like 4 years later, you read about the color blue, and then that triggers them for some reason. It's like, hey, red is better. You suck. Like, where did that come from?
Who are you?
Yeah, exactly, right. So, like, I do like recently how Facebook is trying to separate Messenger from Facebook. So now, like, people can, they can request to send you messages on Facebook without having to add you on their newsfeed, which I think this is very good. So where it's going from now in the next 20 years is like, well, I'm afraid of like how we're being watched and all that. But at the same time, people are much more conscious about this, especially those who were born into that. Like me and you, like we're a little bit older than that, so we're like kind of like trying to ride the wave and all this, and maybe we're not conscious about everything. But those who were born into this, like you'll have those who will accept it greatly, and they'll be famous because of it, or whatever. But you have those who are like, wait, we can also be disconnected too, like our ancestors used to do that, So that'll be interesting in 20 years. What's going to happen? Like, what's going to happen with, especially how we're conscious about our data, and how we can now download it from many sites and that sort of thing. What they do with it, how we can see what they're doing with it. So I want more of that, and I want like
transparency,
more transparency, yes, and also like just recently on the iPhone, now you can even like limit yourself how much time you're spending online, that sort of thing. So I wanted, like, you see, like people are getting more conscious of that now. So I want to see like what's going to happen in 20 years with this. I think people will be asking for more control on their online lives, and I think that's a good thing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, just tying into that, I mean, YouTube. Every time I like click on YouTube on my phone now, it says Article 13, and there's all this stuff going on where YouTube, where the internet is being censored. So in a sense, the governments are kind of correct in wanting to limit stuff. To protect you. You wonder whether it's because they want to protect you, or whether it's because they want to have more control. I don't know, but I mean, in a sense, yes, it's kind of imposing a framework, if you like, on what is now a fairly a free for all.
Well, it is, and the censorship. I think that's one sad part. I don't believe in censorship. Yeah, like Article 14, I'm guessing there's something about copyright in Belgium. Is that what it is, or?
Yeah, Article 13. It's like, I mean, wanted the I don't know who's who's proposing it, but YouTube is trying to sort of, it's the copyright thing basically. That a bit like the memes idea,
yeah, that's
memes are banned, and you can't use like I can't make my adverts anymore because I'm using people's music.
I guess it's more like that's a different question, I guess, but like the copyright stuff is kind of scary because like it's a stronghold for big companies. For small people, they need that, but for the big corporations, like like Disney, for example, they own goddamn everything now. Marvel, Star Wars, those are big names in the creative franchises from the US at least, and they kind of like, because they have all that money, they kind of force you to watch it. Like you don't want to even know about it, but they put that stuff in so many places that you have no choice to know about it, and then it's in your brain now. You can't take it out of your brain. They're basically like purchasing real estate in your brain just for them, just so you know about them.
Well, I mean, I have to complain because on my flight to and from Japan, I mean, the choice of movies. There was a lot of movies. I mean, I could have watched some sort of rather melodramatic Japanese ones, but it was mostly kind of like Marvel or a DC, superhero films, which I did watch, and it confirmed my idea about oh, why did I watch this?
Yeah, it's like when it comes to copyright in those cases, I'm like, I don't really care about you for the copyright, you have the money, you're ingrained in everybody's culture now around the world. I really don't see a point in defending your copyright. That's just my opinion. Of course, a lot of people will disagree, but at that point, I feel it's like a threshold, right? Like after a point, it's like, okay, well, you're famous enough, so like a bit like trademarks, when they become generalized, everybody can use those words now as like names become just words.
So beware, audience. We have copyright on Rémino and Simon no茶の間.
Oh no.
So last question. We'll round it up now. Well, last question. This is completely random question here. Okay. Now we've explored the wonders of Matsudo. And when I interviewed Ozzy, I explored the wonders of Chiba. If you could move to Tokyo instead of Chiba, if you had that opportunity, and you got an apartment where you could swing in the more than one cat, and you were quite comfortable, and it didn't cost you an arm and a leg, would you move to Tokyo? If somebody said sort of, oh, I've got this apartment for you, it's you can have it, and it's kind of thing, and it's right in the center of Tokyo, would you? Or would you?
Definitely, I would move there. That's where the action is happening. I mean, you have people like there's ups and downs about Tokyo, of course, and ups and downs about where I live. I mean, like where I live, for example, sure, it's not this. I mean, I'm right next to Tokyo. It's not like if I'm that far either. But I wish it was closer, of course. But then again, where I am is like super spacious. It's super cheap. Maybe too big, actually. Like right now, I'm just living on my own, and I have like 3 bedrooms. So I'm like, I don't need all that space. And everything I need, is I have one shopping street here, and I have everything I need on it. Like the supermarket is there, the ATMs are there, the companies are there, everything. So, and that's the suburban part. For Tokyo, I lived in Tokyo for a couple of years before, and I want to go back there again because that's where the action is happening. People talk about how the apartments are small and expensive, but at the same time, if you're going to live in Tokyo, you're not going to spend your time in your apartment, so you'd be spending the time to go outside and everything, and that's the biggest reason why you want to be there. You just want to have that ground to be on, so you can party until midnight, 2 a.m., and then come back home just by taxi, and super easy, So,
yeah, not have to plan the entire your entire evening around public transport.
which is not 24/7. A lot of people outside of Japan think that, because there are some trains around the world where they run 24 hours a day, but that doesn't exist in Japan. So yeah, definitely wanted to go there. That's the plan right now. If I right now, I'm applying for my new work visa, like I mentioned earlier, and immigration is kind of giving me problems. I think it's more not they don't like me, but more the left hand is not knowing what the right hand is doing. So if I can get that sorted, and if I do get my visa, if I don't get deported, in other words, yes, I will definitely move in Tokyo next year. So that's the plan for that. Yeah.
I mean, you've been looking. You're putting feelers out, kind of thing.
I am. Yes. Even though I'm still not certain about if I can stay here or not. Will my 9-year life in Japan end or not in a few months? I don't know. But if it does not, if I can still live here, I will definitely move. Not far from my workplace, I guess. Not far from Yogi or something like that. So that's where I want to be.
So Shibuya area, then.
Yeah, I kind of know what I want to do now, what kind of place I want and everything. So for many years, I just didn't really know. I just went on a whim every time, and that's why I ended up here, basically. But now I kind of know like what I want, and I certainly want a small apartment where I can have a cat and just go out every night, come back at home. Very like it's the one thing that I like about Japan, right? Like it's the simple things. Like I mean, for some people it's like the networking, like well, more like trying to be famous in Japan and stuff like that. I've met a lot of people like that. But me, is like in Japan, is like it's the small thing. It's like I can just go out, have a drink with some friends, come back. That sort of thing. They have so many pubs and restaurants and everything within some small area. You have the companies everywhere, the convenience, that sort of thing. Yogi Park is actually.
I mean, people have asked me, what's your favorite? I mean, Japanese friends have asked me, what's your favorite, place in. I mean, I have to say, actually, it is Tokyo. I mean, I've been to different places. I mean, Kyoto is very nice, historic, everything, and various other areas in Japan are beautiful, and with but for just like you say, for just being able to go out free to choose any kind of like area and atmosphere, you can go to. You can't really beat Tokyo, I don't think.
Yeah, and I also like riding bicycles and everything. I do that all the time, and I love. I kind of came to like riding a bicycle in the urban areas as well. Like I was kind of like afraid at first because you have like all the cars and everything. But just the other day, I rode up the bicycle on the main street in Ginza. So like, yeah, that's not a problem. Like, it's pretty good.
Well, you can do that tomorrow. You can go get on the train tomorrow, hire a bike, and it's like the traffic-free day, isn't it, on Sunday in Ginza?
Yes. Just ride a bicycle, just ride over people, all the pedestrians in the way. Yeah, they do that in Ginza, Shinjuku, and where else?
Nihonbashi?
Yes, I think so. Yes. There's a couple of places in Tokyo where like the streets is closed like that for pedestrians on Sundays, so that's pretty good.
It's nice, yes. I mean, and they have the police there to enforce it, and the Gardo man.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think almost all my questions have been answered. All the ones that are actually sort of relevant.
You can ask the rest if you want. Like, I mean, you get them. Yeah, I know you wanted to talk about my number because I was in the title.
Right. Yeah. Let's just go back to my number. That's in the title. Yes. Just for closure and on consistency. I will go.
You can ask about camping as well. I know you want to talk about that, but anyway.
Okay, camping. Yes, sort of. So, title of the show was "Let's My Number," which for all people who don't know is my number is your social security number in Japan, but it's called my number in English or in katakana English, and. Quite a lot of things are called that, and quite a lot of things are let's this or happy that, or anything that's popular English-wise gets transliterated to all kinds of things, including official government things. And just out of curiosity, other Asian, to my knowledge, other Asian or even non-English speaking countries do not think using English is as cool as the Japanese seem to think it is. So do you have a reason for us for this? Do you have your own sort of like take on that?
Well, like I know a lot of people worry about it, especially like I have some friends in the entertainment industry, for example, and they do a lot of like small jobs here and there, right? And they have to deal with that. Like now you have to give my number. My number.
My number.
You have to give your my number to like every time you start a job, every time you open a bank account, and everything. Although that bit is a little bit confusing because for a while, like the my number came out, the system came out, and yet they were not asking for it yet. So I guess it was like a habilitation period or something like that, just like to get people used to that. the thing is, like, back in Canada, we have a social security number, and it works pretty much the same way. Like, I mean, they use it like every time you open a bank account, every time you start a new job and everything, you always have to provide that number.
Mm.
So, actually, when they started that system here, they started it like a few years after I moved to Japan. I was a little bit surprised that they didn't have something like that yet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Canada has it. It didn't become a police state. Japan, like, I'm not sure what they're gonna do with it, to be honest. But I mean, so far, like I don't know. Like for me, like I have an honest track record. Usually, like I just do my job, and like I just provide my number, like every time I start a new job or whatever, you know. So, like I didn't have a problem with it yet. Like I don't see any problems so far. Because I'm kind of used to it already, because we already had that back in Canada. So I'm not maybe I just don't understand exactly what people are worried about. I think they're mostly worried that, you know, that number, like, that government officials can use it to track, like, oh, that guy is not supposed to be working there. That thing is illegal, or something like that, based on their, like, visa status or like whatever restrictions they may have.
But I mean, the actual use of the English, I mean, in itself, for all kind of those official things. I mean, I mean, I can't imagine, for example, in New Brunswick or in Quebec, for example, that they would be quite happy with, you know, using. I mean, perhaps they do. I don't know, but I mean, do they use French? Is it the official language of New Brunswick and Quebec? Or is it,
New Brunswick officially is bilingual. It's French and English. It was the first officially bilingual province in Canada. But I was going to say, like, for the social security number, like, of course, it's in both languages. Actually, the card that says my number on it is written in both French and English, like many other things in Canada. When it comes, like, the name itself, my number, I do think it sounds a little bit ridiculous, especially grammar-wise, because when you say in Japanese, like, what does she know my number? Like, my number? Like, that sounds weird.
My number, yeah.
Because, like, the thing is, like, in Japanese, you do have an official name for it, which is not in Japanese. I think it's like Jiko Bango or something like that. Something that sounds quite similar, like a transliteration of it. I think it's like Jiko Kanli Bango, something like that, like personal management number or something like that. But the thing is, like, what I think happened is, like, the government thought, like, while it's a logical name, but it may scare people into thinking we're just trying to be a police state or something like that. So they tried to make it, like, more friendly sounding by just promoting that name, my number, you know?
Yeah.
So you do have the long Japanese name, and you also have the short English one, but transform into Japanese.
So it's been kawaii-fied.
Been kawaii-fied, yeah, exactly. Everybody's like, "Oh, my number, kawaii." No, nobody says kawaii for my number, but they tried anyway.
I suppose, yes. I mean, sugaring the pill. It's like,
yeah.
Yeah,
that's the thing. But the other thing is, like I was saying earlier, like, I don't fully understand what people are worried about for the my number, because yes, it is tracking everything about your taxes, your employment, and bank accounts. But then again, it's something that I'm used to because it's already like that in Canada. So I'm not sure what to say about that. For me, I'm kind of used to that system.
Hang on. I'm getting mixed messages in the comments here, because Radri, the Radri icon, the Radri logo, can flips both ways. Because
both ways.
Yes, it can be Radri, or it can be his girlfriend Kiki, who is sat next to him. So I'm not quite sure who's saying.
Well, he's saying in the chat that my girlfriend, my number system has already been started. It's not just a card. No, he's right. It's not just a card. Like it's literally just a number. Because you do get like a very like flimsy paper card at first, and then you can apply for like a stronger like credit card like card later if you want. And you can also request a photo of yourself on it or not, that sort of thing. So far, I never had a use for such a card, but I do have to give my number to like when I started my job this year, my new full-time job this year, I had to give it, that sort of thing.
I'm just apparently it's just Radri.
It's just Radri, okay.
Tending to be Kiki.
Just making sure.
Well, you've explained that quite thoroughly.
I try.
I mean, we've gone quite a bit over time. I mean, are you ready for camping, or should we leave that for another time?
Just ask the question, man. Just ask the question.
Okay.
I know what you want to say.
Have you ever wondered? The audience would be completely confused now. Have you ever wondered about living in a yurt?
For those who don't know what a yurt is,
I mean, this can be just purely yes or no answer, and we'll leave the audience hanging and leave it there. and then you may contact Remy on social media.
Okay, I'll just leave that one answer. Yes.
Yes.
I'll try a yurt one.
Okay. Okay. And if you want to know more, contact Radri on 555-4378-2140. Okay.
That's like Radri. He doesn't know about it.
I said Radri. Oh, sorry, Rémino.
Yeah, you said Radri.
You don't even look like him.
Oh, boy.
Oh, God.
And Robert is just saying now, like they stopped issuing the social insurance number or social security number. I forgot. Like American, I think it's social security. I forgot, but they stopped issuing the card. Now it's just a number. I guess it's like Japan. So anyway, whatever. So.
Oh dear! Oh, my friend in New York has just sent me a photograph. No. Oh,
of my number.
Well, it's a number. It's a number. This is a
go ahead and steal it. Steal his identity and everything. Go ahead.
Oh no! It's my friend. She has sent me a photograph. It's rather humorous. I shall maybe show you later. But,
okay.
With that, I should better announce. I should like to thank very much Rémino for getting dressed, waking up on time, and joining me on the show. And I hope you enjoyed it. I did. Yes. I hope the audience enjoyed it. And anybody watching the replay. And for my friends in Japan, I've been talking a lot, and he's been talking a lot, and it's maybe going too fast, but it is what it is. But next week, we talked about cosplay earlier in the show. Next week, my guest will be rescuing the princess, which sounds rather strange, but it is a professional cosplay filmmaker, and he will be joining me on the show, and we will see professional cosplay films. And I shall be...
His name is not Mario, is it?
No, his name is Matt.
Okay.
Matt. Yeah, if you want a preview of all that, if you just go to YouTube and type in "rescuing the princess," you shall see what it's all about. But yes, that will be my guest next week. But for this week, I should very much like to thank Rémino for joining us, and we'll have to say goodbye.
Yeah,
I have to push that button.
You were fun. Goodbye to everybody in the chat. I didn't mention much of it, but I did see like the chat at the same time, so that was fun.
So yes, so question 3 will be answered by Remy in private messages. Okay.
The yurt.
See you, folks.
Bye-bye.